tell, then you see the road. I'm out to my soul into the size. Whenever the smoke clear out of my face and my picture perfect. Do it.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to Cypherfics. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the third part of, What If Dannyphantom Meets Shantae? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Phantom Fan 21 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. The Naga just smirked, telling Shantae everything she needed to know. She groaned and followed Danny towards the pedestal. They placed the medallions on it and watch as they started to glow. Everyone watches the medallions glow for a few seconds before the light fade. That when Danny and Shantae heard another voice in their minds. Medallions power upgraded. Super forms power up. Can now use a new attack. Danny and Shantae shook their heads and looked at each other confused. Super forms? Danny asked. New attack? Shantae also asked. What's wrong? Squid Baron asked them. Little hard to explain. Danny answered before grabbing the ghost medallion. Shantae reached for the genie medallion, but was shocked to see it get swiped away before she could grab it. Shantae turned and saw someone she never thought she'll see again. So this is the famous genie medallion. Holly Lingerbean. Shantae shouted shocked to see the memory half genie. Hello Shantae. Thanks so much for going out of your way to help me find the one thing that will make people remember me for all of time. Holly smiled. Shantae growled as Danny looked confused on this new person. Holly notices him and saw how cute he looked. Well, and who that handsome young man? She asked. Oh no you don't. He's my mate, so back off. The Naga shouted getting in front of Holly. She wasn't sure why, but something was telling her to keep this genie away from her mate. And who are you? Danny asked, shocking Holly. What? How do you not know me? I'm Holly Lingerbean. People love, adore, and worshipping me everywhere I go. I'm one of the biggest half-genie in the world. Holly shouted in disbelief. Never, hear of ya. Danny said shrugging his shoulders. Holly gasped and didn't notice as the genie medallion appeared back into Shantae's hand. Holly just took a few steps back before turning to the Naga. What about you? I'm sure you heard of me. She asked. Nope. My kind don't even know the history of Tassel Town. The Naga said. Holly took even more steps back and could feel herself started to disappear. Shantae, come on. You know me. I took your town memories, remember? Holly said. That's something I want to forget. Shantae groaned. Squid Baron. I was the one that told you about those two. Holly said looking at him. So that were you? I don't recall seeing you before. He said thinking. Holly gasped even more and tried to hold on to herself but could feel herself slipping. She looked at the four in fear as she tried to get them to know who she is. Come on. You must at least heard something about me. She cried. Nope. All four of them said shaking their heads. That's did it. Holly felt herself started to disappear and notices Shantae holding the genie medallion. No failure. She shouted as she once again disappeared. Once she was gone, Shantae sighed. I never want to hear about her ever again. She said. That was Holly Lingerbean. Can't say I know anything about her due to not living on Sequin land. Danny said. I never even knew this town had its own genie guardian. From what I heard, she sounds more annoyed than the other genie BRT. I don't even want to think of her. The Naga said, not liking how Holly was looking at Danny. Shantae turned to the Naga and growled, knowing she was talking about her. Before any more could be said, a bright light appeared where the pedestal once stood. "Well, I guess I see you later, Shantae," Squid Baron said. "Huh?" Shantae asked, confused. "If there's one thing I know, even if we go our own ways, we always meet back up, maybe in another game or fanfiction," he said, smiling. "I guess that's true," Shantae said, thinking about it. Both Danny and the Naga looked confused before shaking their head. Squid Baron waved goodbye as the three stepped into the light. Danny opened his eyes to find himself in a strange place. It wasn't like anything he's seen before. All around him was white void and colorful blocks. In front of him was chest, and neither Shantae or the Naga was seen near him. He then notices he was back in his human form. "What's going on here?" he asked, confused. "Welcome, dannyphantom." Danny turned around and saw a white ball of light appear in front of him and stood back in case it attacked. "Do not worry. I'm not here to attack you," it said. "Where am I and where's Shantae?" Danny asked. "You are in the genie realm. Normally we would let only genie in, but you are special. As for Shantae, she back in the human realm," it said. Danny raised eyebrow and looked around. Surprisingly, the genie realm gave off more of a welcome vibe than Ghost Zone. "We have brought you here because we wish to share some of our power with you," the light said. "Power?" Danny asked. "Yes, as you know, we genies have magic power. Some of us are able to transform. We wish to give you this power as well. But be warned, once you leave Sequin Land, you will lose the power and never get it back. We are also aware of your ghost powers. It reminds us much of the ghosts that come here. So we decide for you to use this power, it must be for you human form," the light said. "Transform? You mean I can turn into others things?" Danny asked to make sure. "Yes, your first transformation is inside that chest. Open it and receive your first animal transformation," the light said, and move away. Danny walk up and open the chest. He reach in and pull out was looked to be a wolf puppy before the power enter him. "You got the wolf dance." "Wolf dance?" Danny asked, shocked. "Yes, we have turned the transformations into dances so you can learn them with ease. The wolf form allow you to fit into small passages and find hidden secrets, that's the reason we made it into a puppy. It has a power bite and strong paws to dig. To activate this power, you first must use the dance you learned to transform," the light said. "But I don't know how to dance," Danny said, worry. "Do not worry, the dance will come to you. Just think of the wolf form and the steps will come to you," the light said. Danny nodded and pictured the wolf puppy and saw the steps appear in his mind. Before Danny knew it, he started belly dancing as the steps play in his mind. "Transform," he said before a light covered him. When it faded, Danny noticed everything looked bigger and looked down to see black paws. He let out a bark of surprise. He had turned into a white wolf puppy with black paws, ears and tail. His eyes remained blue and had a bit of black on his head. "Well done. Like I say, the wolf form will help you find secrets and fit through small passages. Try the form out first, then I'll tell you how change back," the light said. Danny notices a small passage that was too big for his human form. He walked over and slipped right through it. He reached the other side and started to smell something. He placed his nose on the ground and started to sniff. He slowly walked forward until he found something. He barked and started to dig. He found a SWCH and pushed it, making a block more out of the way. "Well done. To change back, just think of yourself as a human. If you wish to use the form again, remember what I told you. However, I'm afraid you cannot use the power in your ghost form. You must be human to transform," the light said. Danny thought of himself as a human and once again a light covered him before changing back into his human form. Danny looked over himself to make sure everything was the way it was. NCE he was done. He turned to the light as it started speaking again. We have more transformations for you, but you will have them at later time. It said. This could take getting used to. Danny said. We understand. Remember, once you leave Sequin Land, you will lose the power. Until then, use our magic to help the young genie that you are friends with. Her mother is happy she met someone like you. The light said before fading away. Her mother? Shantae's mother? Danny asked, confused. Danny looked around and didn't see anything else. He turned around and noticed a glowing door. It appeared to be his only way out and stepped through it, not seeing a genie watch him leave. Please watch over my daughter. Shantae and the Naga appear outside the tower in Tassel Town and notices someone was missing. Danny? Shantae asked, looking around worry. Where did he? The Naga started to ask before another light appear and Danny appear out of it. Danny looking around confused before noticing the girls sighing in relief. Danny, are you okay? Shantae asked, noticing he was in his human form. Yeah. Just had a little detour. Danny said, looking at his hands. A detour? Shantae asked, confused. I somehow end up in the genie realm. Danny explained. The genie realm? Shantae shouted in surprise. Ow, Danny said, covering his ears. But how? The genie realm is where genies go. Even half genies. Shantae asked, shocked. From what I was told, the genies knew about me and brought me there because they wanted to help. Danny said, rubbing his ears. What did they help you with? The Naga asked. Well, they knew I'm half ghost, but they gave me an animal transformation. They said it will help me. Danny said. Animal transformation? You mean you can turn into an animal like I can? Shantae asked, confused. Yeah, they said I can only use it on Sequin Land. Once I leave I lose the power and never get it back. Danny explained. Shantae was little shocked to her that the genies were helping Danny. She knew that they were trying to keep ever greater evil from attack the earth and they were helping Danny at the same time. Just like they did with her. So which animal did you get? The Naga asked. Well, a wolf. A wolf puppy actually. Danny answered. A wolf? The Naga asked. Yeah, they told me it has a great sense of smell and I can dig up things that I can find. They also said it has a powerful bite, so I can at least fight back. Danny explained. Can we see it? Shantae asked. The thing is, they made it into a dance. And I can't really dance that well. Danny said, turning away from them. Come on, Danny. You can't be that bad. Shantae said, though she never seen Danny dance before. Well, the thing is, Danny tried to explain while looking at the ground. The Turnitintoa Bellidens. He said, quickly blushing. The Naga raised an eyebrow, but Shantae was able to make out 2 words. Wait, you can belly dance? Shantae asked, surprising the Naga. Never done it before. At least not until I went to the genie realm. Trust me, I really not sure about it. Danny said, still blushing. Shantae step up and place a hand on his shoulder, making him look up. It okay, Danny. I wasn't a good dancer when I first started out. I had to take lessons first, then learn how to use magic while dancing. It wasn't easy and I mess up a few times and let's just say I don't want to talk about it. Shantae explained, then blush herself. That bad? Danny asked. Bolo won't stop laughing after I recover from it. Sky had to smack Bolo so hard, he almost lost both his breath from laughing and his mind from Sky hitting him. Shantae said, not looking at Danny. Danny chuckled. It was cut short when the Naga slid up to him and planted a quick kiss on his lips. Good to see you're okay. She said. Naga, okay, you know what? I need to give you a name. Danny started to say before groaning. What do you mean? I said I was fine with it. The Naga said. I know, but where I come from calling you by your species sound like I'm insulting you. Danny told her. What do you mean? The Naga asked. Since not maybe people know I'm half ghost, I've been called different things. Not all of them are good. Some of them are insults. I know Shantae probably been called things that were insults as well. Danny explained and Shantae nodded. Okay, but we Nagas don't have names. So what can you call me? The Naga asked. Danny tried to think of a name that could fit her. Let's see, Snaky. No. Scales. No. Inakes. No. Maybe I should try something that does not sound like I'm trying to insult her. Let's see now, maybe I can come up with name by her looks. Danny thought. Danny looked at the Naga and tried to come up with a name that fit her. Danny knew she was wearing red-like armor and had spikes on them as means to defend and attack. Not to mention her lower body is part snake. He looked up at her face and notices her eyes were not like a human's but also not like a snake's either. How about Selena? Danny asked. Selena? The Naga asked. I was having a hard time trying to come up with a name, so I thought maybe I could use your looks to help. I mean you're part snake, but you look human. So maybe I'll give you a human name since you look more human. Danny explained. The Naga was shocked to hear that. Her mate thinks she looks human. Even though she not. The Naga blush and look away feeling really shy to hear that. Danny just raised an eyebrow think she didn't like it. Hey, it's okay, he started to say. I like it. The Naga whisper. What? Danny asked confused. The name, I like it. The Naga said. Okay then, from now on your name is Selena. Danny nodded. The now named Selena smile and warp around and hug him. Shantae sigh and smile. She was really glad that Danny helped someone find a name. In fact she could see the goodness in his heart showing out to others. It like he knew he had to help and he did. Selena went for another kiss, but was caught by surprise when Danny kissed her first. Shantae jaw drop as Selena eyes widen. Danny pull away blushing madly. Why did you do that? Selena asked. She was confused, she liked it, but was confused. You told me that if I didn't kiss you in 24 hours, you'll take me back to your homeland and keep me there. Danny remind her. Selena just laughed making Danny and Shantae confused. I was joking. I was trying to get you to kiss me. She explained. What? Danny and Shantae shouted in shock. Selena got off Danny and smiled at him. Thank you though, not only for the kiss, but for taking me on an adventure. I really had a great time, my mate. She said. You're welcome. Danny said confused. Shantae just growled, she had half in mind to use her hair to attack that no good lying snake. Instead Shantae just huff and turn her head away. So I guess we head back to Scuttletown. Danny asked breaking the silences. Yeah, but I don't think my harpy form is going to last through the trip. I mean, you had to carry me a few times. Shantae said. True, and since we have Selena with us, I might not be able to carry both of you. I mean I'm strong in my ghost form, but what if we are attacked? I can't fight and hold on to the two of you at the same time. Danny agreed. Can't you just call a ride? Selena asked. How? It not like we can whistle and call down a giant bird. Danny asked. Wait, whistle. Giant bird? Shantae said before she facepalmed herself. Of course. Wrench. She said feeling stupid. Wrench? Danny asked. He's Sky's warbird. He can give us a lift back to Scuttletown. Sky gave me a whistle to use if I need to call him. Shantae explained as she looked for the whistle. Danny and Selena look at each other confused before Shantae found the whistle and blew it. A few seconds later, the sound of wings flapping was here and Danny turned around to see Wrench landing on the ground. "Whoa!" he said as the warbird lowered its head at him. "Hey there Wrench. How you been?" Shantae asked petting the warbird. Wrench gave off a screech and made Danny and Selena cover their ears, but Shantae wasn't bothered by it. "Is Sky with you?" Shantae asked him. Wrench just looked at Shantae and she sighed. "Okay then. I need you to fly me and some of my new friends back to Scuttle Town," she said. "Sky?" Selena asked. "One of Shantae's friends. She a good person," Danny said. "I see," Selena said with a raised eyebrow. "Look Selena, I know you don't like humans, but maybe you should at least get to know them. Not all human are weak, I mean you seen me," Danny told her. "Very well. I still have to explain to the rest of my kind of my reasons. But I like to see this Scuttle Town," Selena said. "Okay, then." Danny smiled before walking up to Shantae. Even though he's a human, he's still cute, she thought before sliding up to the others. After having Wrench understand that Danny and Selena was on Shantae's side, the three made it back to Scuttle Town, where Sky, Boruto, Mimic and Danny's family were waiting for them. "I was wondering why you flew off." Sky smiled as Wrench landed. "Sorry about that Sky. I forgot I still have the whistle you gave me," Shantae explained sheepishly. "It okay, did you find what you needed?" Sky said then asked. "Yeah, we did," Danny said as he got off the warbird. "Hello Danny. Nice to see you again. I hope Wrench didn't give you too much trouble," Sky said getting close to Danny and batting her eyes at him. "No, he was kind enough to give me a ride, once he knew I was friends with Shantae." Danny blushed. Sky smiled and then gasped in shock as she saw a naga slid off. Boruto was shocked as well and pulled out his fail. Mimic just took a step back, as Danny's family looked confused. "Whoa. Whoa. It okay. She's on our side," Danny said stopping Boruto and Sky. "Danny, who and what is that?" Jazz asked. "This is Selena, she a naga," Danny explained. "I'm also his mate," Selena added. "Mate?" Danny's family shouted as Sky, Boruto, and Mimic looked even more shocked. "Selena, these are my parents and my older sister," Danny introduced. "Nice to meet you. I never thought I'd be related to humans," Selena said getting close to them. "Huh?" Boruto asked confused. Selena well, Danny tried to explain. "I'm a naga and nagas and humans are not supposed to mate. We are marked as outsiders for it. The only way for me to redeem myself is cut all ties with him and kill him." Selena took over. "What?" Jack and Maddie shouted as Jazz looked worried. "Don't worry. I'm not going to. Danny is far too cute for me to kill," Selena told them. "Danny?" Jazz asked her brother who rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Not the less, Shantae got Boruto, Sky, and Mimic over and told them her and Phantom adventure. They met Selena, which Danny was the one that gave her the name, found a temple and had a run-in with Squid Baron. All the temple did was power up the medallions and Danny somehow got sent to the genie realm. "Wait, he got what?" Sky asked shock. "Yeah, it appeared the genies had been watching Danny and know about him. They gave him some of their powers that allow him to transform like I can," Shantae explained. "So what can he turn into?" Boruto asked. "A wolf puppy," Shantae answered with a shrug. "That's it?" Boruto asked again. "Hey, I don't always get more than one transformations when I go to the genie realm," Shantae told Boruto upset. "Well, how does it work?" Sky asked next. "He told me that he has to belly dance like me to use it." Shantae told her. A male belly dancer. Sky and Billo asked confused. What's this about belly dancing? Jack asked, caught the ending. Danny was unsure of what to say. He looked at his parents and notices how confused they were. If his parents saw him transform into animal they would freak out and might claim genies as something that was evil just like ghost. There was no way he was going to do that to Shantae. I saw Shantae perform her dance a few times and I asked her if I can learn it. She been giving me lessons from time to time. I didn't want to you, because it not ready and I'm a bit embarrassed about it. Danny told them. Really son? You wanted to belly dance? Jack asked surprise. Danny, you do know that belly dancing is mostly for girls, right? Maddie asked him. Well, it just that, it look interested at all. Danny said, trying to keep himself calm. Shantae raised an eyebrow, wondering why Danny wasn't telling them about his transformation. Sky and Bolol was also confused. Only Jazz figure out why Danny made up a story. I'm not sure why Danny need to learn belly dancing, but something tell me there more to this. Jazz said. Well, like I told Bollo and Sai, Danny got drawn into the genie realm and the genie there gave him some magic. From what he told me, Danny has to belly dance in order to transform into an animal. Shantae explained to her. Oh, now I get it. If Danny were to do that now, then our parents will freak out about it. Jazz said in understanding. Why? Bollo asked confused. Mom and Dad are quick to jump to conclusions without looking at the facts. I said there a good chance if Danny tell them, then they might pass off genies as evil just like ghost. Jazz told them. Shantae just shook her head. She know that then Fentons are visiting, but they appear to be someone that doesn't understand their way of thinking are wrong. She hasn't seen a lot of ghost, but she was far more open-minded about them. She was happy that Jazz and Danny were nothing like their parents. Selena slid up and hugged Danny as Shantae rolled her eyes at the sight. Wow son, she really likes you. Jack smiled, though was a bit unsure. If the other Nagas learn about him, he going to be in trouble. By claiming him as my mate, the Nagas can't hurt him. Even if I'm an outsider now. Selena clear up. Really? Bollo asked. How about we do move on? I'm sure you wish to know what we learn, right uncle? Shantae said, having a hard time keeping herself calm. Selena smirked, knowing the real reason why Shantae wanted to move on, even if she doesn't know it. A few hours later. Shantae had talked to the mayor and was able to get Selena a place to stay, which was just outside Scuttle Town. All it took was a promise from Selena to not attack Scuttle Town and there will be no problems. Now Shantae, Danny, Shantae's friends, Selena and Jazz all stood in an open field. So Danny, can you show us your animal transformation? Jazz asked him. I don't want to. Danny said, not wanted to show it. Come on Danny, I seen you transform into your ghost form many times. What are you so against showing me another transformation? Jazz asked. Danny knew his sister had a point, he sighed and looked at her. Okay fine. But if you laugh I'll bite you. Danny said annoyed. Bite me? Jazz asked confused. Danny started belly dancing and Shantae notices the moves were just like hers. Once Danny finished he said, transform, and was covered in a bright light. When the light faded, a small white puppy with black paws and blue eyes. Shantae, Sky, Selena, and Jazz all awe that form, making Danny growl at them. What a cute little puppy whoopee. Jazz said, kneeling down to pet him. Danny tried to bite Jazz's hand, who pulled it back quickly. Bad Danny. Jazz told him. With another bright light, Danny turned back to normal and frowned at his sister. Don't treat me like a dog. I was told that my wolf form is a powerful bite. Danny told his sister. Selena the slid up to Danny, warp around him once again. Selena, Danny said, a bit annoyed. Relax my mate, I'm just hugging you this time. I really like your puppy form. She said. And how is Giga Mermaid going to handle this? Jazz asked. Oh, it doesn't matter if my mate is engaged to the Mermaid Queen, once a Naga calm their mate, they are together forever. Selena told Jazz. Danny sighed, before phasing those Selena and turned to Shantae. Okay, from what we learn our medallions has been power up and our super form, as they call it, are much more powerful. Danny said pull out his ghost medallion. Yeah, but how powerful? Shantae asked pull out her genie medallion. So what are you going to do? Bilalo asked. Maybe we need to train with the form. I have a feeling something might become too powerful for us and we might have to use them. Danny said turning into his ghost form. What do you mean? Shantae asked confused. I have fought many tough opponents over the year and some are far more powerful than I am. Lucky, I had ways to defeat them, but it was really had with my parents' invitations. Danny explained. Yeah, I heard you. I fought opponents before and I was able to overcome them as well. That never a easy fight. Shantae agreed. Danny looked at his medallion and started to feel his power. Soon enough, Danny's hair turned icy blue and appeared to turn into ice. His eyes turn icy blue and his hands give off light blue mist. Whoa! This is new. Danny said feeling more powerful than before. Shantae looked at the genie medallion and started to feel for it power. Shantae's hair soon turned into fire and her eyes turned red. She also had fire appear in her hands that didn't hurt her. Selena, Jazz, Sky, and Bilalo gasped in shock on their new looks. Jazz then walked up to her brother and was a bit worried for him. Danny? Are you okay? She asked. I'm fine, Jazz. Just trying to get used to this new power. Danny said as he released a breath of cold air as he talked. Shantae? Sky asked her friend. I'm fine as well. Never knew how powerful this was. She answered. So what now? Bilalo asked next. I think we need to get an idea of what this power is like. I think the best way to do that is to train in these forms. Danny said. Train, huh? Sounds like a plan. How should we do this? Shantae asked. Selena was speechless. She knew Danny held the ghost medallion but being able to use his power. He really is the protector. My mate is able to use the protector power as if it was his own. And the genie girl is able to use the fire genie magic. They must be. They have to be the reborn ghost and genie. They have to be the chosen Hellfaz. Celine thought in shock. I think the best way to train with these powers is for me and Shantae to fight each other. Danny said thinking. What? But Danny, I don't want to fight you. Shantae said surprise. I don't either, but who else is there? I can't ask my parents and I'm sure you don't want to hurt anyone here. Danny told her. I think I get it. Danny think you two should train together because the power you have might stand better against each than some who cannot even stand up to it. Jazz said seeing Danny point. Right, what do you say Shantae? Danny asked her. Before Shantae could answer, a large ship flew over them and Shantae knew who it belonged to. Ammo Baron. She said. Who? Danny asked confused. Ammo Baron is one of the barons of Sequin Land. In fact Squid, Ammo, Hypno Barons live on the inland and, from what Roddy told me, are a group of thieving bandits who pass themselves off as artifact collectors. Like I said, Squid Baron is okay, most of the time. Shantae explain a bit. Ammo Baron tries to take over the word, but Shantae stops him each time. Bilalo explain. Key word is tries. Sky added. He not a good villain is he? Danny asked. No, but he is dangerous. Not sure what he up to this time, but I better find out what before he hurts someone. Shantae said looking at the airship. Danny also looked at the airship before turning to Shantae. What are we standing around here for? He smirked before picking Shantae up, bride style. Danny. Shantae nearly shouted, her face turning red. Sorry, but I thought I saved you the trouble by taking up there instead. Danny said before taking off with Shantae in his arms. You think they notices that they are still in their power-up forms? Billo asked. So much for training. Sky sigh. Danny landed on the nearest airship and set Shantae down, who was trying to calm down. She was never pick up like that before and she like it. Not sure why, but she like it. So anything I need to know before we find this ammo baron? Danny asked. Well, like I said, I don't know what his plan is this time, but most of the time his minions try to stop me without telling me anything. Shantae said. Hold it. Danny and Shantae turned to see some of armor baron men on the ship with them arming this weapons at them. Those the minions? Danny asked her. Yep. Shantae answered. Guess this won't be boring. Danny said, getting ready to fight. Oh, and Danny, don't worry if you knock them off. They always fine afterwards. Shantae added. Really? Well, that does make me feel a bit better about hitting these guys. Danny said, relief. With no time to waste, Danny shot forward and landed a punch on of the minion face, shocking the rest of how fast he was. Shantae wasted no time in using her hair to smack some of the minions before they try to rush at her. Shantae knew trying to dance on a move ship with enemies coming at her was too dangerous, so she decided to handle the old-fashioned way. One of the minion turned to punch her, but Shantae ducked under it and tripped him. She turned and punched another minion before another one grabbed her from behind. Hey, hands off! Shantae shouted before feeling a build-up power that burst out of her. The minion was sent flying off her and Shantae could see a flame surrounding her. What, wait, I'm still in my super form. I never turn it off. Shantae said before notices more minions heading for her. I'll worry about it later, I better catch up with Danny. Fire dash. Shantae said before running off, leaving a trail of fire behind her. She bowled through the minions like bowling pins and even make a strike. Danny was fighting off more of the minions that were surrounding him. Danny looking around and smiled. Wow, I never met this armor baron yet and I got to say, he really had some loyal minions. But that doesn't mean I can be taken down by the likes of you. He said before slamming his hand in the ship. Frostbite. Danny said, watching as the minions started jumping around as the ship became too cold to touch. The move shocked Danny, he was trying to phase them into the ship, not making them jump around. That when he notices his hands cover in a icy mist. Wait. Am I still in my ice form? I must been in a rush, I forgot I had it on me. Danny said to himself. Danny. Danny turned and saw Shantae heading for him, and unlike armor baron minions, when she stepped on the cold spot of the ship it didn't feel cold to her. Shantae, you're still in your fire form? Danny asked. Yeah, I can tell you still in your super form. Shantae said before notices armor baron men. What are they doing? She asked, confused. Oh, I somehow made the ship too cold for them to stand on. I end up call out the attack name Frostbite. Which is also a name of a ghost I know. Danny explained. Really? Well, we can worry about that later. Since ammo baron men are busy try to keep their feet warm, let's go find ammo baron. Shantae said. I'll phase use though the ship. Something tells me staying out here is far too dangerous right now. Danny told her and grabbed Shantae's hand. Shantae's face once again turned red, but had no idea why. Danny phased them through the ship and the minions stopped hopping around as the surface started to warm back up. Contact ammo baron. The genie made it inside with some help. Danny phased him and Shantae into the airship and they land on the floor. They look up and saw lots of gears around them. Wow, this ammo baron know his machines. Danny said. Not really. Most of the time he has Techno Baron build things for him, or they are gifts from his mother. Shantae shrugged. He must really love his mom then. Danny said. Yeah, one time he was trying to take over Scuttle Town and I stopped him. Before learning that the mayor turned the deed of the town to him and I wasn't informed about it. Shantae said. Wait, what? What did he turn the deed over for? Danny asked surprise. For a box of cheap waxy chocolates. Shantae answered. What? Danny shouted surprise. Okay, I know he's your mayor and all, but really? He traded the town for a box of chocolates. That is the most stupidest thing that he could even do. How in the world did he get into the mayor office? Danny asked in disbelief. You know, I don't know. At least Ammo Baron was treating everyone fair for some time. Even rehire me as the town guardian. And then learn he was going to take over the world by destroying the palace first. Shantae said. Jez, that nuts. Danny said, shaking his head. The only reason why he failed to do so was because of Boruto. Shantae smiled. Boruto? Danny asked confused. Yeah, Ammo Baron needed a aiming Techno Gear Techno Baron and I learned it was made by Boruto. Turnouts Boruto build things upside down, inside out, and in reverse. Shantae smiled. Ha 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 ha. Wow, I know Boruto a good friend, but really? Not ever Tucker would make that mistake. But since it helped you, I'll give him the benefit of a doubt. Danny laughed. You know, you never told me about your friends. What are they like? Shantae asked. Well, Tucker is a really good friend of mine. Know him since we were little. Tucker also two main loves, technology and meat. As I told you before, he sees himself as a ladies' man, but get turns down every time. It because of that I think he and Boruto could get along so well. Sam is another long-time friend of mine. Her full name is Samantha, but she doesn't want to be called that. What many people don't know is that Sam is rich, but she doesn't want to be treated different because of it. Sam will also never eat meat because she a animal lover. I think both she and Sky could get along really well. Danny smiled as they walked for a bit. Wow, childhood friends, huh? I know how that feels. I know Sky and Boruto since we were little as well. Shantae smiled. Guess we have something in common other than us being halfas. Danny said. I guess so. Shantae giggled. Shantae had to admit, Danny was indeed noting like the guys she seen before. True, he engaged to Giga and is now a mate to the Naga Selena, but this was something about him that made her feel all warm inside and not because of her genie fire powers. Maybe she like him. More than just a friend. Danny was also thinking to himself. He never thought he'll met someone who was just like him. Besides being halfas and have childhood friends, Shantae felt more understanding to him. It almost as if they were meant for each other. Right? Danny turned to Shantae and thought back to when he first met her yesterday. She was pretty and true, she dressed like a belly dancer, but Danny learns his lesson about fall for a girl because of their looks. Maybe he likes her. More than just a friend. Before they could speak their thoughts, they were stopped as the floor lower and show a huge mech with two girls sitting in the cockpit. Shantae knew who they were. Twitch. Vinegar. She said. Wow, there girl. Is that you? Vinegar asked, shocked to see Shantae's new look. I'm digging the fire hair. Looks good on you. Twitch added. Thanks. Shantae said, a bit confused. Shantae? Danny asked. That's Twitch and Vinegar, they work for Ammo Baron. Sometimes though they're okay. Shantae explained. Hey, who the quite? Twitch asked. Yeah, he is cute. Maybe we can get him to go out on a date with us. Vinegar added. Sorry girls, but I'm already taken. I'm engaged to the Queen of the Mermaids and am now a mate to a Naga. Danny said blushing. Oh, bummer. Twitch groaned. Drats. We were hoping to now you some more. Vinegar said upset. I don't mind if we become friends, but something tells me you are here to stop us. Danny told them. Yeah, we are. Twitch told him. Friends huh? I think we can work with that. Vinegar said thinking about it. Danny? Shantae whispered to him. I had enough girls hitting on me yesterday and a bit of today. Plus since they are human, I can turn them down with ease. Danny whispered back. For some reason that made Shantae both happy and sad. Why? Why would she be sad about Danny turning Twitch and Vinegar down? She shook her head, this was no time to be worried about that. She stood ready to fight as Danny did as well. Sorry girls, but whatever your boss is up to, we need to stop him. Danny told them. You want to get to Ammo Baron, Twitch started. You have to go through us first. Vinegar finished. Bring it on. Danny said. I'm ready to go. Shantae said. The mech turned to punch both of them, but Danny and Shantae jumped to the side. Shantae notices that the hand was a bit shocked and rush over towards it and threw on punch. Fire fist. She shouted hitting it. Shantae watches the mech hand started to heat up, but when it pulled itself free, the hand cooled back down. The mech opened its mouth and shot out laser beams at her. Luckily, Danny flew over to her and phased her through the beams. Once the beams stopped, Danny threw his hand forward and shot a ice beam at the mech. Ice blast. Danny shouted, freezing the mouth for the time being. Wow, I thought the boy was hot, but that was just so cool. Twitch pun making Vinegar groan. Not bad there, but I think it was icy cool. Danny pun as well. Great, bad enough I have to listen to Twitch making bad puns, but now him too. Vinegar groaned to herself. What do you have against my puns? Danny and Twitch yelled at her. Shantae just shook her head, she never hear Twitch make puns before but from what Vinegar said, she been know to do it for some time. Still Vinegar snapped out of it and threw the mech hand at Shantae. Shantae jumped back and watched as Danny flew forward and threw his punch. Ice fist. Danny shouted freezing the hand. The mech hand pulled free and was having a bit of trouble of breaking the ice. Okay Shantae, we need a plan because this is take too long. Danny told her. I know. If we can destroy the mech, then Twitch and Vinegar won't have a way to fight us. But be careful with Twitch, she carry bombs with her in case she needs to attack to get away. Shantae told him. Danny nodded and watched as the mech finally broke the ice off. It even broke the ice off its mouth and started shooting lasers out. I'm firing my laser. Twitch shouted making Vinegar look at her in confusion. I had no idea why I said that. Twitch quickly told her. Danny and Shantae dodged the lasers before Danny once again froze the mouth shut. The mech threw another punch at them that they dodged. This time the two looked at each other and nodded. They both ran forwards and threw a punch at the hand. Fire/ice fist. They shouted and hit the hand. What happened next was surprise to everyone. The hand started to heat up, but also freeze over at the same time. Then it became too much and the hand exploded. Wow, now that's what I call a freezer burn. Twitch said making Vinegar groan once again. I'll say, do you want some ice for that burn? Danny added making Twitch laugh. Girl I don't know where you found him, but I'm really like him now. Twitch told Shantae. Danny's not from around here. Shantae explained. Danny? Is that your name? Vinegar asked. Yeah, Dannyphantom is what they call me. Danny told them. Phantom huh? Sounds spooky and mysterious. Vinegar said smiling. Well that's the idea. Danny nodded. The mech threw another punch that both Danny and Shantae dodged. They once again threw their punches but was caught by surprise when a laser hit them, knocking them away. The mech pulled it hand free and Twitch and Vinegar gasped in shock to see Danny and Shantae stood up unhurt. "Wow, I barely felt that," Shantae said. "I know. Maybe out super form make it harder for us to get hurt," Danny said thinking. "Super forms?" Twitch asked. "You mean like how main characters from anime shows get a power-up form that make them stronger and harder to kill?" Vinegar asked as well. Danny looked at the two in surprise wondering how they know about anime. "Not that you two mention it, yeah it does feel like that," Shantae said thinking. Wait. How do you know about anime?" "From the time I've been here, no one has a TV." Danny asked lost. "Well, Uncle Mimic finds a lot of things from the lost world. Anime was one of them," Shantae explained. Danny just stood there confused. "Old world?" "My brain hurt," Danny said rubbing his head. "Sure it not a brain freeze?" Twitch asked smirking as Vinegar groaned once again. "No, I just confuse on how you guys confuse things from my home as the old world," Danny said before shaking his head. "You know what, forget it," he said. Shantae raised an eyebrow before noticed Twitch and Vinegar also going back to what they were doing before. Shantae knew that the laser won't hurt them, but there had to be a way to stop it. Danny had froze the mouth a few times, but it appeared that Twitch and Vinegar were ready for it. Maybe if she could distract them. Danny was also thinking the same thing. Both Shantae and Danny turned to each other and nodded as if they had a plan. "Fire dash," Shantae said and started to run about the mech. "Whoa! Too fast," Twitch said unable to keep up. Danny flew into the air and held both his hands up and let the ice appear in his hands. "Ice blast," Danny said. The ice hit the mech and almost froze it completely. Danny then phased Twitch and Vinegar out of the mech just as Shantae dashed through it, casing it to explode and destroy. Danny set the two down before standing next to Shantae. "You took us," Twitch said shock. "Why?" Vinegar asked as well. "I'm a hero. I wasn't going to let you two get hurt. You don't appear to be that bad," Danny explained. "Thanks." Twitch smiled. "You know, you can join the Ammonian army. Those abilities of yours could come in real handy," Vinegar told him. "No thanks. I'm fine what I'm doing now," Danny said. "We know, since he helped us out of that mech, maybe we should reward him." Vinegar, Twitch said. "I was thinking the same thing." Twitch, Vinegar smiled. "Reward?" Danny asked confused. Then both Danny and Shantae were shocked as Twitch and Vinegar one at a time kissed Danny on the lips. Shantae could feel her flames of her hair get brighter as she growled. Why was she getting upset about Twitch and Vinegar kissing Danny? Before it just hurt her, but now it was annoying. "Wow! You lips are really cold," Twitch said trying to warm them up a bit. "Might because of your super form. I don't think you're this cold," Vinegar said thinking. "Yeah, but can you please tell us what Ammo Baron is up to?" Danny asked. Before Twitch and Vinegar could answer, Ammo Baron himself suddenly appeared from a nearby elevator. "Ammo Baron," the girls said and stood attention. "That's Ammo Baron?" Danny asked Shantae. "Yeah," Shantae said before turning to him. "Okay, Ammo Baron, what are you up to this time?" Shantae asked him. "EOW. A fire demon board my ship," Ammo Baron shouted in shock. "Fire demon?" Shantae asked confused. "Ammo Baron, that not a fire demon." Twitch clear up. "Yeah, that's Shantae. You know the genie girl?" Vinegar added. "Really? But I thought she had purple hair, not red fire hair," Ammo Baron said confused. "She in a super form, you know, like from the anime shows you watch from time to time." Twitch told him. Really? Well, think I take back what I said before. You look hot. Ammo Baron said, looking at Shantae. Shantae just stood there confused before Danny step up shurisping Ammo Baron. Look pal, Shantae told me about you and how you threatened to take over the world. All you have to do is tell us your plan and we'll see what happened from here. Danny said. Not sure who you are, but I'm not telling you anything. Prepare the transformation sequence. Ammo Baron order. Transformation sequence. Shantae asked confused. Suddenly, the gears of the ship started to move and sounds of clanking was heard. Danny wasted no time and grabbed Shantae and phased them out of the ship. Once outside, Danny and Shantae watch as the airship became a huge flying mech, with Ammo Baron at the top of the mech. Here we go. Ammo Baron flying mech is ready. Ammo Baron said, laughing. He been watching too many anime shows. Danny said, shaking his head. How are we going to beat him? Shantae asked, trying not to blush. Danny had to think. He looked at the flying mech and then at Shantae. He could have sworn he seen this before, like those rail shooting games Tucker had shown him. Wait, rail shooting, that's it. Danny thought. Shantae, I have an idea. You can shot fire, right? Danny told her. Yeah, but it causes me some of my magic to use. Shantae said, confused. But we are in our super forms. You've been using fire this whole time, and does it feel like your magic was weakened from the uses? Danny asked her. Shantae's eyes widened as she noticed he was right. Her magic doesn't even feel close to being drained. If she uses too magic, then she has to rest to recover, but in her fire super form, she could feel ton of magic in her. Looks like you figure it out. Since you genie magic are far stronger than this form than normal, Danny trailed off, still smiling. I can use my magic longer than usual can. But what about you? Shantae said, then asked. I'll dodge the attacks that Ammo Baron send out and you attack. It just like those rail shooting games Tucker told me about. Danny said. Rail shooting? Shantae asked, confused. No time, get ready. Danny said, seeing that Ammo Baron was done checking over his mech. Okay, you two lovebirds. Prepare to be shot out of the sky. Ammo Baron said, laughing. We are not lovebirds. Danny shouted before dodging a missile that was shot on them. Fire blast. Shantae shouted, shooting fireball from her hands. Danny flew around the attacks that Ammo Baron sent at them as Shantae attacked back. Sure enough, Shantae's fireball were far stronger than her normal ones. However, Ammo Baron then flew his mech into the clouds, confusing the two. Then their eyes widened. Look out! Shantae shouted, as Danny flew as fast as he could to dodge the mech diving at them. That was too close. Danny said. But Shantae heard something below then and looked down. Danny, move. She shouted, making him look down as well. Danny yelled in shock before flying backwards to dodge the mech again. The mech flew in front of them and fired missiles again. Danny and Shantae did what they did before, dodging the missiles and returning fire. However, what happened next nearly caught the two off guard. The mech chest opened and fired a giant beam that hurt both of them, almost knocking them out of the air. Ha 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 ha. I'm firing my laser. Ammo Baron laughed before looking confused. Why did I say that? He asked himself. Lucky Danny was able to stay afloat and hold on to Shantae. But just like before, neither of the two look worse for the wear. Okay, we need to take out this mech now. I know our super forms are holding us over, but we don't know how much more we could take. Danny said. Yeah, got any ideas? Shantae asked. Just one, and it a risk. Danny said. Well, what is it? Shantae asked again. I'm going to fly towards it and we should call out our powers as much as we can. Danny explained. What? That really risky, Danny. We don't know what would happen if we do so. Shantae said surprise. What other choice do we, he charging up that laser again. Danny pointed out. Sure enough, Ammo Baron was indeed charging the laser, thinking it would get rid of them both. Danny and Shantae nodded, and Danny flew at the mech as fast as he can. Both Danny and Shantae scream as they let out their powers. Danny and Shantae power cover each other, and something strange happen. Their powers started to mix and turn into a purple aura. They also started to be covered in a white light as they burst right through the flying mech. What? No! Ammo Baron shouted as mech exploded. When the white light stopped, it was two people, but one person. It is a little hard to make out, but the person did have what looked to be a long ponytail. It even looked over it should and what appeared to be smirk before the light split in two. Danny and Shantae were now back to normal, and Danny quickly caught Shantae before she could fall. What happened? Shantae asked, feeling tired. Not sure. Danny said, also feeling tired. They both notices Ammo Baron and same of his men parachute down to the ground slowly. In fact, it looked like Ammo Baron was covered in soot. Blast it all. I was just going for a joy ride and now you destroy my mech. He shouted. Well, next time don't go flying over Scuttle Town and give Shantae the idea you are up to something. Danny shouted back at him. Wait, joy ride? You mean he was just lying over for fun? Shantae asked. Yeah, he was, but it illegal in my home. While it not take over the world bad, it's still bad with the law. Danny explained. Well, I guess we should head back. I think that enough training for one day. Shantae said, yawning. Yeah, I agree. Danny yawned as well. The two were about to head back to the ground before noticing the sunset. Danny floated in the air with Shantae in his arms. The two watch it for a bit before looking at each other. The two just stare into each other's eyes, lost in thought. They did started to move their heads towards each other and started to close their eyes. Before they could finish, Danny almost dropped a few feet. Whoa, guess I'm more tired than I thought. Danny said while making sure he still held on to Shantae. Let's head back. I ready for some sleep. Shantae said. Danny nodded and flew back down to the ground. Ready to call it a day. Those medallions are proven to be really powerful. Risky said, have seen the whole thing, even the part where Danny and Shantae almost kiss. Indeed, but there more to those medallion than just powering up Daniel and Shantae. Vlad said and rewind the video to show the light person looking back and giving a smirk. So I guess we need to take them? Risky asked, liking that idea. Not yet. Those temples that Daniel and Shantae are going to hold more secrets about the medallions. We must let them finish first, then take the medallions for ourselves. If we move too soon, then our plans will go up in smoke. Vlad told her. Fine, but remember our deal. Risky told him. Oh, I haven't forgotten. I just hope you keep your side of the deal. Vlad smirk. I do, I get the boy as my first mate and you can use the genie BRT magic to get what you want. Risky said, rolling her eyes. Vlad just smirk as he watched both Danny and Shantae retire towards the places they were staying for the night. Rest easy, little badger. It only going to make this all the more better when we finally take that power for ourselves. Vault smirk and laugh. Danny woke up as the sunshine inside the room he was using. He was wondering how long he was going to stay in Scuttle Town. He was supposed to stay for a few days at most, but since Risky destroyed their plane, they didn't have any way to get back home. Danny was a bit homesick, but Shantae made him felt like he fit in here. Shantae, that name means something to him. He still remembers what he thought about on the Ammo Baron ship. He felt that he and Shantae had a lot of things in common. From being Halfaz to having childhood friends. The biggest thing was, like Danny, Shantae felt alone at times. Danny turns and notices the ghost medallion near his bed. When did I take that out? Danny thought and grabbed it. He looks around and notices the rest of his family had already awakened and must have not seen the medallion. Danny got dressed and stepped outside. He looks around and saw the town folk doing what they do every day. He then spotted Sky and Boello talking, or actually Sky was yelling Boello. "That was very stupid, Boello. You're lucky that he didn't try to hurt you." Sky yelled. "Well, it was a dream come true," Boello said. Sky just groaned and Danny walks up to them. "What has a dream come true?" he asked. "Oh, Danny. Boello here took a peek in the women's bathroom just to spy on girls again." Sky groaned. Danny sighed. He learns his lesson about that. Through he did it by going into the girls' locker room. Wait, did Sky say bathroom? Wait, the women bathroom? Danny asked, shocked. Sky nodded and Danny turns to Boello before looking back at Sky. "Who did he spy on?" Danny asked. "Your sister." Sky answered. "What?" Danny shouted before turning to Boello, upset. "And let me guess, my dad found you and gave you a warning?" he asked. Boello didn't say anything and Danny notices he had a dreamy look on his face. Growling, Danny walked up and smacked Boello on the back of the head, hard. "Ow!" Boello said, rubbing the back of his head. "I don't know what my dad told you, but listen up. If I so much hear you do something like this again, I don't care if you Shantae's friend, I will beat you until you learn your lesson. And you know about my powers, so I can really hurt you. What my dad told you will seem like child play when I'm done." Danny said angrily. Boello backed up a bit when Danny's eyes turned green for a second. Boello had a strong feeling that Danny was telling the truth about his threat and made a promise not to spy on his sister again to himself. Danny took a breath and looked at Sky, who was a bit shocked by Danny's anger. "So Sky, where's Shantae?" he asked. "Last I seen, she was helping Mimic looking for another one of those temples for the medallions. I think your parents are there too." Sky answered. "Thanks," Danny said, smiling. Before he could head off, Sky grabs his arm, making him turn to her. Sky then leads close to Danny's face and puts on a flirting look. "You know, Danny, you've been hanging around Shantae for some time, why not spend time with me?" she asked. Sorry Sky, but I have something I need to do and I need to find Shantae. Maybe another time," Danny said, blushing. Danny wasn't sure, but it appears Sky was not just trying to hang out with him, but he recalls what Sky said yesterday when he answers Bolo's question about him reacting towards the girls calling him cute. If Sky was going to try that with him, he was not ready. Not mention he already engaged, twice. Sky pouted and let him go. "Great, I thought I finally found someone," she said. "Sorry Sky, but I'm engaged to Giga and now a mate to Selena. I don't want any more girls to try to marry me. I'm only 14. Danny said. "Wait, 14? That means you're younger than us." Boello said, surprised. "Really? You look as old as us?" Sky asked. "Well, some people say that sometimes someone looks older or younger than they really are. But I'm really 14, way too young to be engaged or a mate," Danny said. "And yet you got a mermaid and a naga to like you," Boello pointed out. Giga was a surprise. "Luckily, she understands I'm too young and it's fine if we don't get together, but Selena? Oh boy, it's going to take a long time before I can get her to understand. I mean, I turned down Twitch and Vinegar yesterday," Danny said. "I still wonder why you like Roddy. I mean, she a zombie, she nothing but trouble," Sky said, upset. "Sky, you are being unfair. Shantae is Roddy's first friend. Come on, you heard how the other zombies don't even like being around her and her brothers," Boello reminded her. "I know, but Roddy betrays Shantae's friendship. That's not something to overlook," Sky told him. "What do you mean?" Danny asked. Do you remember Risky Boots? Sky asked Danny, who nodded. Risky tricked Roddy and her brothers into kidnapping Mimic. All because Risky promised them coffee and Shantae's brain. Sky said. Danny was a bit shocked at that. But from the way Shantae and Roddy act, it looks like Shantae had forgiven her. Before he could speak about that, Sky continues. Roddy is nothing but a zombie and zombies are nothing but trouble. She said. You sound like my parents, Danny said, getting Sky to look at him. From the way you talk about Roddy and other zombies is the same way my folks and people from my home talk about ghosts. Thinking they are nothing but trouble, like every zombie you meet is bad, even the good ones. I'll admit it was a bit shocking to hear that Roddy has betrayed Shantae, but from what I have seen, Roddy is trying to repair it and is doing a good job. If Shantae forgives her and is repairing her friendship with her, then I don't have to worry about that. Plus, now that Roddy knows she can't trust Risky, she wouldn't betray Shantae's trust ever again. Just because you don't like her, Sky, doesn't mean you have to be mean to her. Danny told her. Sky looks surprised to hear how Danny defends Roddy. Now that thinks about, she recalls how Danny parent talks about how ghosts are dangerous and not be trusted. Even talking about how his ghost form is just as dangerous, with Shantae defending him about how he helped stop Risky and was holding back his full power. Since there was a ghost that visits Sequin Land in the past and wasn't here to cause trouble, Sky had to admit that she was being unfair, but what Roddy did something to Shantae was something that was going to take a long time for her to forgive. Sky, you have seen how much Roddy is trying to make up for it. Remember when we went in her mind to free her from the dark magic and we noticed that Roddy was trying to help Shantae even though she didn't like us? Billo pointed out. Sky, I don't see Roddy as something that I should hate because of what she is. True, if she betrays my trust I'll be mad at her, but from what I have seen Roddy feels bad about it and it looks as if the two had let the bygones be bygones. Danny added. Sky didn't say anything before Danny placed a hand on her shoulder. Sky, you don't have to like or forgive Roddy right now, but you should at least see she trying to make up for her mistake. If you keep letting this get to you, then you might do something that will break Shantae's trust with you. He said. Sky's eyes widen as she never thought about that. Most of the time she has been trying to conceive Shantae that Roddy isn't someone she could trust fully. But going so far as doing something that betrays Shantae's trust and their friendship? She would never want that. See? My friends have been against some of the things I did and the same thing if they did something I'm against. We fight, we hurt each other feelings, then we made up and let it be a thing in the past. Danny smiled. Wow, Danny. That's really nice of you. Everyone turns and saw Roddy walk up to them. Roddy? How much did you hear? Danny asked, surprise. The whole thing. And you are right. I learned my lesson and I'm not going to betray Shantae ever again. She said, feeling sad. Hey, cheer up. You look prettier when you smile. Danny said before caught what he just said. You know, for a pretty zombie, I mean a zombie girl, he shudders. Roddy, Sky, and Billo all laugh at Danny getting tongue-tied. Danny notices and pouted. It's not his fault he can't talk to girls with ease like most guys can. Most of the time they just ignore him. What everyone laughing about? Danny turns and saw Shantae walk up to them. Danny sighed and decided to change the subject for now. Hey Shantae, how the search for the next temple coming? Danny asked. I think Uncle Mimic found the next one. But it not on Sequin Land, it one of the islands that the ghost and the genie visit during their time together. Shantae explains. Which island is that? Billo asked. Not sure, but I was looking for Danny so he can be ready to head out as well. Shantae answer. Wow, I get to leave the island. Well, I guess if we must. Should I be in my ghost form? Danny said then asked. I think that'd be wise. I told Uncle Mimic I was going to find him. Shantae said. Okay, first I better hide somewhere, too much open space for people to see me, Danny said looking around. How about you hide in my lighthouse? Everyone knows that I have been trying out new magic and I can pass it off as me trying something new. Shantae whispers so no one could hear them. If you are sure, Danny said before following Shantae towards her lighthouse. Ah, that's sweet. Shantae is inviting Danny to her lighthouse. I'm so proud of her. Roddy smile. It just for Danny to hide for now. I still think he should tell his parents about his powers. Sky said. Maybe, but don't they look cute together? Roddy said. Roddy, they're friends, Bill said cluelessly. Fine, whatever. I hope they do get together. Talk about a couple of the century. Roddy said. Couple. Roddy, even if they do get together, Danny already been taken, twice. Sky said. So. From what I heard, the Queen of the Mermaids understands that Danny is too young and the Naga is his mate even if Danny likes Shantae. I just don't her to be alone that all. Roddy explains then grew worried. You're right. But how can they? Danny is not from Sequin Land, it will be hard for them to even be in a relationship. Sky said. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Plus it is great to have two brains to eat now. Roddy smiles. Roddy. Sky shouted as Roddy laughed. After hiding Danny in her lighthouse so he could turn into his ghost form, they both headed to Mimic's workshop and Danny didn't see his parents with him this time. Hi, Uncle Mimic. I found Phantom. Shantae said making him look up. Ah. Nice to see you again Danny. He said shocking his hand. Sure. Danny asked. Shantae just shrugs as Mimic returns to the book and map. Shantae then walks up and tries to see what he was doing. Do you mind? He asked her making her take a step back. Mimic. Were you supposed to be finding the next temple? Danny asked. Oh, I already did. He said. What? Then why did you sure anything? Shantae asked. Huh. Oh right. Got a little busy with one of my new ideas from the Fentons. He said. Ideas? From the Fentons? Shantae asked. It's not any ghost weapons that can harm me is it? Danny asked. Oh no, but some of the ideas that Jack and Maddie share with me are very interesting to say at least. Mimic said. Okay. Anyways, where is the next temple? Shantae asked. Oh, it on Saliva Island. Mimic told them. Saliva Island? Danny asked with a raised eyebrow. I've been there before. It also where I met Twitch and Vinegar for the first time. Shantae said remembering that they bathe in real saliva to open a labyrinth for her. Well, I can fly us there, Danny said. How about we go by boat inside? We better save your powers for when we need it. Shantae told him. Sound like a plan, Danny said thinking about it. Good. I get to be a pirate again. Shantae smiles. Again? Danny asked. Long story, me shipmate. Shantae said with some pirate talk. Danny blinks before playing along. Very well Captain Shantae. When do we shove off? Danny asked. Let's find us a ship-worthy boat before we do. Shantae said. Aye, Captain. Danny said and the two just giggles/chuckles. Mimic rolled his eyes as the two left. He smiles as he knew that Shantae was growling close to Danny. He opens the book to the last page and reread the messages that the ghost and genie left behind. After Shantae got them a boat to borrow, they head out with Danny looking over the sea. He heard Shantae walk up and turn to face her. He was surprised to see that he was wearing an open vest and a purple bandana with a skull on it. Ahoy there first mate. She said. Danny blinks before smiling. Wow, you look like a pirate. He said. Really? Thanks. This vest is something I wore when I lost my magic. Shantae said before tossing Danny a sword. Now, show me what you can do, first mate, Shantae said pulling out her sword. Danny blinks before holding up his sword. Sure thing, Captain. Danny said smiling. The two then started to swing their swords, hitting each other. The two smiles before sword fighting each other. They didn't try to hit each other but they were having fun. Danny then dodges one of Shantae's swings before flying up to the mast. Shantae looks up before running towards the MSTR before running up it. Danny watches she jumps off and grabs a rope before swinging up to Danny and land on the mast, smiling. Show off, Danny smirks, impress. They started to sword fight again, still having fun. What they didn't know is another boat was behind them, following theirs. On it was the Fenton family. Jack was a bit upset that he didn't have a ghost weapon as Maddie made sure to stay on their tail while making sure not to get too close. Jazz sighs, as she knew why her parents was doing this. Mom, Dad, let's head back. She said and want for the answer she knew was coming. No way. That ghost is dangerous and he must be stopped. Jack shouted. Plus with that medallion, he might be more dangerous than ever, Maddie added. And how do you know? Jazz asked, getting them to turn to her. How do you know Phantom is dangerous? How do you know he going to take over the world? Jazz added. What do you mean? Maddie asked. Did you guys forget what Danny told you? Phantom is not a ghost that wants to take over the world. There are times I can't stand you too. Sometimes I even hate you. Jazz said, annoyed. Both of them look at her in shock. Jazz sighs and faces them. Mom, Dad. For scientists, you don't look at all the facts in front of you. You always jump the gun. Just because we had one bad encounter doesn't mean all ghosts are evil. Jazz told them. If that's true, then why are they fighting each other? Jack asked as he looks through the spyglass. Jazz took it and looked through it. She then lowly it and sighs. They're messing around. They're not trying to hurt each other. You jumped the gun again, Dad. Jazz said, shaking her head. But, Jack started to say, but Jazz was growling, annoyed. But nothing. Shantae and Danny are getting along just fine. Phantom is not the first ghost that came to Sequin Land after being mistreated. Mom, Dad, me and Danny are not like you. We have our own dreams and we want to be what we want when we grow up. Just because you are ghost hunters doesn't mean you're right all the time. She said. Jazz walked below deck as the two merry Fentons look at each other confused. Back at Danny's and Shantae's ship, the two was sword fighting on top of the mast before Danny jumps off and grabs a rope before swing around. Shantae smiles before doing the same. They swing past each other, hitting their swords against each other while making sure not to cut their ropes. However, they were having so much fun that they didn't notice the ropes twisting together and tied them up, causing their faces to be close to each other. Shantae said, blushing. Danny said, also blushing. The two just stared at each other as their cheeks turned red. Shantae turns to move away but she was too tied up with Danny to get free. Hang on, Danny said before grabbing Shantae's hand. He phases them out of the ropes and flew back down to the deck. The two teens just stared at each other before leaning close. They started to close their eyes as they got close, but a splash of water knocked them out of their trace. Ah, man. Yuck. Danny said, spitting out some of the seawater. Ugh. Great. Shantae said as she tries to dry herself off. Here, let me help, Danny said and phased the water off them. Thanks, Danny. She said, smiling. They just stared into each other's eyes before they went back to their spots. But both of them noticed that they almost kiss. Shantae is one amazing girl. Not only can she fight but she knows when to have fun. Still, she way more appealing than I thought. I did say if I was to pick between her and Paulina, I'll pick Shantae hands down. Maybe I should tell her about my feelings. Danny thought. Danny is way different than the boys I ever met. He funny, kind, and very handsome. I think I know why Giga and Selena like him. Maybe I do too. I guess that I could tell him about how I feel. Shantae thought. Before either of them could think of telling each other about their feelings, Shantae saw Saliva Island ahead. Hey, Danny. We're just about to reach Saliva Island. I'm going to pull us to a place where we can dock. She said. Sure thing. Danny said. The two steps off the ship and looks around the island. So, where do you think this temple is? Danny asked her. Not sure. I know where the labyrinth is. Maybe we could start there. Shantae said. Worth a shot, Danny said. The two head off before another pull up and the Fentons follow after them. Danny and Shantae walked through the rock field and saw some waterfalls. It wasn't long before they heard a roar of a waterfall and steps up to it. Okay, this is where the labyrinth is, Shantae said. Danny looked up. And saw that a giant lizard over them and the waterfall was coming from its mouth. Danny looks at Shantae, who notices his look. Yeah, I need to get in, and Twitch and Vinger wanted some water to play in. And well, Shantae trail off as Danny places the pieces together. They went swimming in its saliva. Danny shouted. Shantae just looks away, remembering she didn't have the heart to tell them about that. Still, they did help her. She looks up and notices that there was a cave close by that wasn't there before. Strange that cave wasn't there before. She said, walking up to it. You sure? Danny asked, stepping up as well. Before she could answer, their medallions started to float out of their pockets and hover in front of them. Looks like we are on the right track, Danny said, grabbing his medallion. Shantae nodded and grabs hers before they headed inside. Jack and Maddie try to rush after them, but the cave seals shut, stopping them. Jack tries to open the cave back up but was unsuccessful. Jazz walks up and sighs, knowing this would happen. Mom, Dad, come on. If there is a temple in there, then we can't enter it. Jazz said. We can't let that ghost get any stronger. Jack said, trying to lift the opening. Jazz groans and turns away. Fine. Go and stop him. I just hope you two are ready to face the consequences when you learn the truth. Jazz said, knowing it wasn't her place to tell them who Phantom really was. Jasmine, what has gotten into you? Maddie asked. What has gotten into you too? All you care about is destroying ghosts. You don't care that some are good and want to leave others alone. But, no. You have to be right. You have to think that they are evil. You have to ignore the truth. I know who Phantom is and how he wants nothing more than to keep others safe. Maybe if you two took the time to know and understand ghosts, you might have seen that you were wrong about them. Jazz yelled. Jack and Maddie look at her in shock. Jazzy, what do you mean you know who Phantom is? Jack asked. Sorry, Dad, but it's not my place to tell. But I will say that you are wrong about him. I'm heading back to the boat. Jazz said and walks away. Jack and Maddie look at each other before face the seal-off cave, not sure what to do. Danny and Shantae reach the temple but didn't see any BLD blossoms this time. They walk up to the temple and notices two drawings on it. One was the shape of a monkey, the other was the shape of a wolf puppy. Strange, what does this mean? Danny asked, looking at them. Not sure, Shantae said, looking at the drawing of the monkey. For some reason, she thought it looks familiar. Almost like. Wait. She said before back away. Danny watches her belly dance and transforms into a monkey. She then pointed at the draw of the wolf puppy, then at Danny. Danny blinks before getting the idea. Oh. So those are drawings of our animal forms. Okay then, I need to be human for this. Danny said and turns back. He then bellies dance and transforms into a wolf puppy. The Danny barks at Shantae, who chanted back. Danny then sniffs the ground and starts to sniff along the ground. Shantae spotted something at the top of the temple door and climb up it. Danny stops and started to dig. He found a button as Shantae found another one. They push them both and the temple door opens. Shantae climbs back down and they both turn back to normal. "Well, this is different," Danny said as he turns into his ghost form. "Yeah." Shantae agrees and they headed inside. Danny and Shantae step inside the temple and saw there were tiki masks on the wall. Shantae walks over and looks at one of the masks. "Strange, I saw these before," she said. "They're called tiki masks, Shantae. Some people believe that intended to represent deities and bestow specific traits upon the setting in which they're placed. Some believe messing with them would cause trouble for the one that does," Danny said, remembering a bit of history. "I see," Shantae said. They both move on from the room, not noticing the tiki's eyes started to glow. Danny and Shantae enter another room and saw a tiki temen pole with two hands. Shantae notices something over the left hand and couldn't believe what she was seeing. "Danny! Look! It's your symbol," she said. Danny looks and was surprised. It was his symbol. "Hold on. How is that possible? I didn't even have this symbol when I first started," he said. Shantae could only shrug. However, she did see that the tiki hands were uneven. In the right hand was a block with Danny's symbol, the other had nothing. "I guess we got to even the hands out," she said. "Looks like it." Danny agrees. They noticed another door and enter it. As soon as they enter, it slams shut behind them. They both turn and saw some tiki masks on the wall with their eyes lighting up. Then some skeletons reform and were holding swords. They appear to roar at them before getting ready to attack. Danny and Shantae also stood ready as the skeletons walk over to them and swing their swords. Shantae jumps back as Danny ducks under the other one. Shantae threw her fist that hit the skeleton, which causes it to be pushed back. Danny dodges the second swing before punching the skeleton, also being pushed back. The two skeletons roars before their swords started to glow. They swing them, and an energy beam came out of them. Danny quickly got in front of Shantae and places a shield in front of them. The beam hit the shield, and the shield broke, but the two were okay. "Drats! That was stronger than it looks," Danny said. "We need to beat them," Shantae said before dancing. However, she didn't transform into her animal form. She blinks and looks at herself. "Huh? Why didn't I transform?" she asked. Danny took a look around and saw the tiki mask eyes were glowing and quickly places it together. "I think those tiki masks are blocking your magic. As long as they are there, you won't be able to transform," Danny said. "Can't we get rid of them?" Shantae asked. "I don't think that's a good idea. If these masks are important, then destroying them would be a very bad idea," Danny said. "Speaking from experience?" Shantae asked. "Once or twice," Danny told her. The skeletons roar before swinging their swords again. Danny grabbed Shantae and jumps into the air. He looks at her and they nod. Danny then spins around and threw Shantae at the skeletons. Shantae kicks one skeleton before flipping away, giving Danny time to punch the other one back. Both skeletons recover but had not time to move as Shantae rushes up and punches the second one, knocking it on the wall and bursting apart. The first one was about to swing its sword at her, but Danny blasted out of its hand before punching it. It too was hit the wall and burst apart. The tiki's eyes stop glowing, and the doors open. "Well, that takes care of that," Danny said, landing next to Shantae. "Maybe, but we need to keep an eye out for more rooms like this," Shantae said. "Now you're speaking from experience," Danny said. "More than once," Shantae said. They travel through the temple, solving puzzles, dealing with traps, and fighting off more enemies. The one thing that they notice was that, unlike most temples, they were traveling up instead of down. "Hey, Danny." Shantae spoke up. "Yeah. I know we only know each other for a few days, but I was wondering, if," she tries to say. "If what?" Danny asks, confused. Deep breath, "You can do this." Shantae thought. "I was wondering if you could tell me about yourself. You know, what your life is like." Shantae asked. "Really? Well, my life is kinda boring. You've seen my parents, and you already have an idea of what my family life is like. I did tell you about my friends," Danny said. "But what about you? What's your dream?" Shantae asked. "My dream, I sorta live it out already." Danny smiles. "Huh?" Shantae asked. "Shantae, the planet we live on is nothing more than a speck of dust. All the stars we see at night. They could be signs of other suns, maybe other planets. I want to travel to them one day and see what they have to offer. Maybe I'll discover a new race. Who knows, the possibilities are endless." Danny said. Shantae was surprised. She recalls hearing some people believing space had more secrets than people knew, but Danny wanted to go out there. He wanted to find those places and see them for himself. She smiles and felt happy for him. "Then, I wish you luck," she said. "Thanks, Shantae." Danny smiles. They enter the final room, and the doors slam shut. The two look up and saw a giant tiki mask hanging on the wall. Both of them stood ready before the tiki mask eyes glow and started to shake. It then broke free from the wall and floated down to them. Two giant hands floated next to it and the tiki roars, causing many tiki masks' eyes to light up. "Boss?" Danny asked. "Boss." Shantae answers. The giant tiki mask roars again before trying to slams its hands down on the two. They both jump back, and the hands lift themselves back up. Danny fires an ectoblast at the tiki mask, but the hands block it. Shantae tries to throw some fireballs at it, but they boucle off. The hands goes to punch them, but they both jump back. The hands then appear on both sides, and Danny quickly caught on to what was about to happen. "Shantae, grab on, quickly," he said. Shantae grabs Danny's hand, and he flew up, just as the hands clapped together. The tiki roars and brought its hands up. It places them together and summoned an energy ball and fired at them. Danny quickly let go of Shantae and only had time to cross his arms in front of himself. The energy ball hits him and causes an explosion. "Danny!" Shantae shouted as she lands on the ground. She looks up at the smoke and saw that it cleared up to show Danny was still floating, but his jumpsuit was torn. He still had his gloves, but half of the upper suit was torn in half and hanging like a loose leaf on a tree. Danny lowers his arms, and she could see that they were shaking. They must have taken the blurt of the explosion. She thought before seeing one of the hands smack Danny towards the wall. Danny slams into it and falls to the ground. Shantae was about to rush over before another hand slams down in front of her, cutting her path off. That's when Shantae notices something. On the palm of the hand was a red jewel. She quickly whips it with her hair and heard the tiki roars as it pulls its hands back. The hand started to glow before it was destroyed. The tiki looked surprised before glowing at her. It raises its only hand and tries to smash her with it. Shantae jumps away from it and waited for the jewel to appear. But the hand rises over her again and tries to slam on her again. Shantae was about to jump away again but was surprised to see Danny suddenly caught the hand, and held it up as the tiki tries to bring it down. Shantae saw the jewel and quickly hits it with her hair. Like before, the tiki pulled its hand back as the jewel was destroyed, and the hand exploded. "Are you okay?" Danny asked. "Yeah, you?" Shantae asked back. "I'm fine," he said, through his arms still hurt. Shantae knew he was lying, but there was no time. The tiki roars and shot a beam from its eyes. The two teens quickly dodged them and fires back. They did nothing, and the tiki laughs. Drats. We need to beat it somehow. Danny said. How? I can't use my magic to transform. Shantae said. Danny knew he couldn't use his new power as he could only become a wolf puppy. He did have one power that could work. It was risky, but he had no other ideas. Shantae, get behind me and cover your ears. He said. Shantae didn't question him and did what he said. Danny took a deep breath and released his ghostly wail. The tiki was knocked back, and Danny didn't like up. All the tiki masks couldn't stand the power anymore, and their eyes stopped glowing. Danny finally stops to keep himself in his ghost form as Shantae finally uncovers her ears. She saw Danny fall to his knees and quickly checks on him. Still not used to that, Danny said. Shantae heard another groan and saw the tiki mask floating back up, its face now cracked and a red jewel on its forehead. Rest, Danny. I got this, she said, pulling out the genie medallion. She transforms in her fire genie form and waited for the tiki mask to make it move. It roars at her, and Shantae rolls her eyes. Yeah, roar. I got other things to do. Shantae said, firing a fireball at the tiki. The fireball hits the tiki, and it floated back, roaring in pain. Shantae fires another one, making the tiki back up more and more with each shot. Finally, Shantae aims at the jewel and hit it with a fireball. It shattered, and the tiki roars in pain, thrashing about. Finally, it stops, and the crack started to glow before exploding. Shantae turns back to normal and sees Danny walking up to her. Nice work. That was hot. Danny pun. Thanks, Shantae said, blushing. They then heard something come loose from the ceiling and fell through the floor. They heard more floors get destroyed and then stops. Confused, Danny grabbed Shantae's hand and they flew down. They found themselves back in the first room with the tiki totem and a large stone with Danny's symbol on it. Another stone had a fire symbol on it and was in the other hand. Soon the hands were even, and the tiki's eyes glow. A bright light filled the area and then disappears, leaving another pedestal for them. With a nod, Danny and Shantae placed the medallions on it and they started to glow. Instead of a power-up, Danny and Shantae saw two people appear, one male, the other female. To those that found our medallions, done well to reach this far. The male said. There are still more temples to find and learn our secret. The female said. Wait, they must be the ghost and genie of Sequin Land, Shantae said. Really? They look no older than us. Danny said. However, the challenges ahead are far more difficult than the ones you have been through. The ghost said. But we know you can do it. Restore the peace that we left behind. The genie said. Danny and Shantae look at each other, a bit confused on what they mean. Protect everyone. The ghost said. We know you can do it. The genie said. Dannyphantom. Shantae. Both teens were shocked to hear their names, and the ghost and genie faded away, and a door appears in front of them. They knew us. Danny asked, still shocked. But how? Shantae asked. Neither of them had the answer. They took the medallions back and enters the door. Danny once again found himself in the genie realm and saw the same white ball of light waiting for him. So, they knew about you and Shantae. Most curious. It said. But how is that possible? They couldn't have learned about me and Shantae. We weren't born yet. Danny said. Genies have many magics. However, it's time for you to focus on the path before you. It said. Danny saw another chest and opens it. You got the rhino dance. A rhino? Danny asked. Indeed, with this form, you can break walls with ease. To use it is simple. Perform the dance as you did with the wolf, and think of your rhino. Form. The light said. Danny sighs and belly dance again. He then turns into a white rhino with a black horn. He notices a crack wall and got ready to charge. He charges at the wall and bursts through it. The light then spoke up again. Well done. You can also use that form to push giant blocks. It said as Danny turned back to normal. This reminds me of Shantae's animal forms, Danny said. While they may use the same abilities as the genie daughter, there are other forms we have for you that work differently. Return to the areas you've been to before with your transformations and find hidden ones we have placed there. The light said. Danny looks up before seeing a white glow behind him. He was about to leave before turning back. Is there a chance I could meet Shantae's mother? He asked. Young man, she already knows you. The light said. Danny blinks but didn't say anything else. He turns and enters the light, not noticing a woman looking like Shantae watching him leave. Thank you. She whispers. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 4. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Phantom Fan 21 on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.